Hey everybody, it's Miranda here with a design team project for Discount Paper Crafts Etsy store. As you guys know, it's my favorite store. I love Kathy beyond just designing for her. Like, I would support her no matter what, y'all. She is amazing, and those of you who know her totally, can relate to that. What I did is this box was for my mother-in-law for Mother's Day, and I showed you the one I created for my mom, and I'd already added the pictures, so I wanted to get this one filmed before I added the pictures in there, so it may look a little empty, but it's going to be totally filled out once I get the pictures printed out. And I will be doing these ones on transparency so that the paper will show through. So it was a box that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. It was just in the unfinished wood aisle. Really cool box. I've seen Miss Janet Coulter here on YouTube. She didn't do one exactly like this one, but she did one similar. Well, she's done a couple back in the Secret Scroll cigar box days, and I always loved hers when she'd post them in the group and show us. I mean, I always wanted to try one, so I did. And then also Mama Tiffy did one of those as well, and the whole clock idea over here I got from her because she had done hers like that. I want to say she inlaid it on the inside of the glass, but I just put mine on the outside. So I used a ton of stuff from Kathy's store, and I tried to use colors that Janet, Chris's mother, loves. If it was up to her, it would be John Deere green. I couldn't quite do that color, so I just gave her a lot of green elements and earth tones and stuff. Their home is a log cabin that her husband built, and it's just amazingly beautiful. And outside on the porch, they have all this rustic stuff and antiques, so that was kind of my inspiration behind the whole thing. So I used both the Hope Chest paper line and then the Prima Lyric paper line. For the outside, I used the Prima Lyric, and I did this on my mother's too, and I also used the same knob on my mother's, so it was something I did that kind of tied the two of them together. That was just kind of special for me to do. So I added this paper all the way around the outside, and I just distressed the edges with frayed burlap distress ink, and then I adhered these down with Mod Podge, and then I sealed on top of it with Mod Podge too. Chris always likes the way that looks, and I think I've never really had trouble with it bubbling on me, but other people have, so I stopped using the Mod Podge for a long time, but I ended up picking it back up, and I do like the way it looks on top of there. Hopefully the camera will pick it up. It really just finishes it off and seals that paper, so it's not just, bare. So if you spilt something or anything, it would totally be protected. So I did that all the way around, and then I added this black Venice type lace all the way around as well, and then these white flatback pearls. I love the hardware on here. These hinges are beautiful, along with the closure that came on the front, but I didn't end up using it. So I did that all the way around. And then a little tip for me is when I first put my lace down, whenever I would close my lid, it would get bunched up in there because it was too tight. So if you just trim the corners of your laces, you can't really tell unless you're really looking. It will allow that to close without bunching up your lace on the inside of it. Okay, so that's the bottom part. And then up here, I just went to town decorating this bow here. She's going to be hanging this on her wall. We're going to mount things behind it for her to mount it on the wall because she doesn't have like a huge coffee table or anything for this to sit on. So I did this bow here. This is some May Arts ribbon, and I just tied it on there to keep it closed, but it's not attached or anything, and it can totally just come off of there. So I'll move that now so you guys can see inside of it. I have a poem, or not a poem, rather a quote on the inside of there, which I will read in just a minute. But here on the outside, I did a big cluster over here. These are the Paquita flowers from Kathy's store. They are absolutely amazing. This is one from this pack, and then there's the other color up there. And I just added that there. I have a lot of Prima bling coming off of it, and it was like in a brown tone, and I just went on top with a little bit of gesso just to kind of give it a more shabby, classy type look, I guess. That put this knob here from my stash. This is a Prima spray from Kathy's store, and it was for the Divine collection, but what I did is I ended up taking off the flowers that came on it and adding other flowers from Kathy's store. Like this is from the Prima engraver line. I believe it's the daisies. This is a Kaisercraft paper bloom from Kathy's store, and this is one of the engraver flowers as well. And I just gessoed everything so it hit the raised areas and just the tops of the flowers. So you can totally cut apart your sprays, y'all, and use them however you want them to. You don't have to keep them as is. This is a Graphic 45 metal staple butterfly, which Kathy doesn't have these in her store, but she has a lot of the metal staples in store right now. And I went around the edges of it with gesso just to kind of give it some definition. Up here is one of the Leaky Shed chipboard clocks from Kathy's store. I never want to use the whole thing on one because I just want to make it last because they are really big. So I just cut it apart and used half of it. And I gessoed it, and then I used frayed burlap, and then I also sprayed some Treasured Hems shimmers on there. And that's kind of how I got that effect. And then I also went around with liquid pearls all the way around. I'll show you really quickly. Chris's grandmother went yard selling, and she got me this huge basket full of all these liquid pearls, and I'd never really used them before, but I really love them now. I think they add so much definition, especially to your chipboard elements. So if you have chippy elements, just adding them around the edges and stuff, it really brings them out. This piece is already so pretty. So that's the bottom part there, and I did the same thing to the little hands that come with it. Up here I have just one of those Memento Michaels metal corners right there, and then here I have the other Paquita flower. This is from the Prima Lifetime collection, and it's just such a pretty like aquamarine type blue color. So I just gessoed it a little bit, gessoed this one, more bling coming out here, and this is one of those little Prima zippers. The ones Kathy has in her store right now are the white ones that have like the little charms attached, and I have to get some because they're so cute. This one says treasures though, so that's the outside of it. And it just opens up, and then on the inside of it I gessoed the entire thing, spritzed it with some shimmers just to give it some shine, and then I lined it with the Hope Chest paper, which Kathy has in her store. This paper is really pretty. I was on the fence about it. I didn't know if I would want to try it, but now that I have it, I just can't stop using it. It's so pretty, and it matches up with her home perfectly. It has like roosters, you know, they live in Tennessee and they have a little farm type yard and everything, so it just matched perfectly with her whole theme. So down here there was this truck image that I just could not cover up. So what I'll be doing is I'll be putting pictures in a couple of these compartments, but it'll still be on transparency so the paper will show through. And I put a little quote inside of here, and it says, "A mother holds her children's hands for a while, their hearts for forever." And I used a combination of the Prima Alphas that I got from Kathy's store, the little sticker sheet. And the ones I had were like an orange color, and I just alcohol inked them black. And then the other ones are just some grunge board letters from Tim Holtz that I added in there. I added a Michael's key over here and tied a little seam binding bow on it. I have a Webster's Pages cameo here. This is a little shovel type, you know, antique little miniature piece, and I want to say Linda, Faith Chick 777, she's on the design team with me. I want to say she sent me these. She sent me a few of them, and I've finally been using them lately, like for the perfect project, so I added that in there. And then up here I have one of the Graphic 45 metal butterflies, a Prima engraver flower from Kathy's store. And then I have just a little mini album here, which is going to have pictures in it. It's totally simple. I just have a antique like clock charm. Those ones from Michael's there, and then it's just double-sided paper all the way through, like 8 pages for me to add pictures in there for her. So I've decided when it comes to making things for like our family members and stuff, simpler is usually your best bet. They don't really understand the whole mixed media thing, so try to keep this kind of clean and classic looking, and then, you know, just add lots of pictures in there. But I really like how it came out, and been having fun experimenting with different colors that I wouldn't typically use, green definitely being one of them lately. So I hope you guys like what I came up with, and I definitely hope she does too. I will put a link to Kathy's Etsy store down below, of course, so you guys can go see what she's got. She's got tons of resins in her store right now. Like, hold on, let me show you this one. I'm working on a layout right now. You guys, I love this one so much. This is the Ingvild Bohm Metal Treasures, the lamp post, and she has all of these in her store right now, y'all. I'm telling you, you have to go grab them. This is amazing. So anyway, I will put a link to that down below. Definitely go check her out. I will have a link to my blog, but this post won't be up until tomorrow, so stay tuned tomorrow on my blog, and I'll have all the still shots and then the products used. So hope everybody is having a wonderful week, and I will catch up with you guys later. Bye, y'all.